Hello YouTube, this is the D.B.T Gamer Show, episode 75. And today I'm going to do my very first Game Gear review. Today I'm going to review Lion King on the Game Gear. Lion King is one of the best Disney movies I've ever seen. It was a very good movie when I was a kid, and I really liked it. So let's see what the game is like. The game was released on the Game Gear, the Game Boy, the Sega Mega Drive, and also the Super Nintendo. There was also a version made for the PC, but I've never actually played that one. But most of the game versions were pretty good. Let's check out this one. Now my camera's in position, we can begin. Now, the story for The Lion King, if you see the movie, you already know how the story goes. But put basically, it's about a young lion cub who gets exiled from his pride lands, named Simba, and his Uncle Scar kills his father, and then Simba basically goes away for a while and becomes a lot stronger and actually kills Scar and becomes the new king. That's the basic storyline. But if you haven't seen the movie before, I do suggest you watch it because it's well worth watching, even though it's for kids. Anyway, let's start the review of the game. So that's what the story's like. Let's go to the graphics. The graphics in this game, they are quite... They're not fantastic, but they're okay. You can see what's going on quite well. The Game Gear just about does the job. The core looks really nice. And most of the characters and enemies look pretty solid. The controls of the game are also really good, but there's several control settings that you can pick. You can pick your control setting in the menu. The control setting I like to use best is 2 for jump, 1 to roar, diagonal to roll, and arrow pad to move around, of course, and start to pause the game. They're the controls that I use. There are 2 other control types, but I can't remember those. Okay, next let's go to the music. Well, the music in the game is also pretty good. It stays quite close to the film, and most of the music comes from the film itself. And next let's go to the game. But the game of this game, it's a platformer. Most of the game will involve you jumping around, killing enemies, and fighting bosses. At the end of most levels, there will be a boss. Just pause it. Good about this game. Well, there's loads of levels in the game to play through. Most of the levels do follow the movie. Example, this is the Pride Dance level. The level from the movie The Elephant Graveyard. There's a level where you have to fight Scar. There's a level where you have to fight some hyenas. And there's also several levels where Simba grows up. Now, levels where Simba grows up, he has several more attacks which you have to master to beat the game. Really good about this game are the bosses. The bosses are quite a challenge. Let me just find one, I'll show you what they look like. Okay, YouTube, sorry it took so long. Now that I've found a boss, I can show you what they look like. Now, before you reach each boss, you will see a lion drawing. If you click the lion drawing, you can restart from that point. Basically, it's a checkpoint. So collect it before you fight a boss, so you don't have to keep going through the level. Alright, here we go. And the boss in the game, well, some of them are quite challenging, as I said. Most of the bosses, there's the hyenas, Ed, can't remember the other 2's names, but one of them called Ed. Another boss in the game that you'll fight is obviously Scar. He's the final boss. Let's have a look at Ed. Now, Ed the hyena is a pretty easy boss. All you got to do is just dodge him until he gets tired out, and then you just jump on him. When he gets tired, he'll start moving slower, and his tongue will hang out. You can leap on him. Do this about three or four times, and he'll be dead. That's basically all I can say about the bosses. That's all good stuff I can really think of. Okay, let's go to the bad stuff. And the bad stuff about Lion King for the Game Gear, well, there isn't really that much of it. It's a pretty good game. I only have one tiny complaint. Some of the bosses are a little bit too easy. Now, in the game, there are 3 difficulty levels. You've got Cub, which is very easy. Lion Prince, which is, I think, normal mode. You also got Lion King. Lion King's obviously the hardest difficulty. And that kind of makes the bosses harder. Lion Prince makes the bosses pretty easy. But the worst difficulty is Lion Cub, because you don't even get to finish the game. You only have to do half the game that difficulty. Okay, now back to what I say about the bosses. Probably the easiest and most disappointing boss of the game is Scar. Scar in the Sega Mega Drive version was a real bitch to beat, but in the Game Gear version, he's really pitiful. He's so easy. I can probably beat him without even getting hit once. Basically, all you have to do is either wait for him to jump at you and run underneath him, or jump over him and just force him towards the edge of the cliff, and then when he jumps, jump and press the one button to smack him in the face, and he'll fly off the cliff quite easily and fall to his death. Then the credits will come on and all that sort of shit. So my only complaint is that some of the bosses are too easy, especially Scar. He's quite disappointing. But besides that, everything else about the game is pretty good. Anyway, let's rate Lion King for the Sega Game Gear. I give Lion King for the Sega Game Gear a 3 out of 5. It's a pretty good game, but some of the bosses can be a bit easy. Is it worth buying? Well, it's a pretty good game, so I say yes. Now, my next review will be Yoshi's Story on the Nintendo 64 and also on the Wii Virtual Console. But I'll say that for next time, YouTube. Until then, bye-bye.